Today I'm going to continue my talk series, Our Hidden Power. And this is part 3. Why choose fear? And that's such a powerful question. So we're going to begin to explore that. But we're going to start off with the basic premise from which this talk series is founded. There is one creative power in the universe. It is everywhere present and within everything. And we can use it. So what is really happening is that as I uncover and look at what is fear, I have determined fear is nothing more than a mental habit. It's a perspective on how one looks at life. And so it was real interesting this week. I went to the gym yesterday, and I went on a machine that not only measures your weight, measures your BMI, tells you what your percentage body fat is, what percentage water you are, what percentage fat you are, muscle. And I looked at it, and my weight is at my ideal weight. I'm back to my ideal weight of 185. I'm 6'1", 185. And what was fascinating was the fact that my body fat had not changed. It remained the same. And I said, how is that possible when in the last 2 years, my upper body has relatively gained? I have doubled the strength in my upper body per the program I'm being measured on. And I said, this doesn't make sense. And as I thought about it, I realized, wait a second. In the last year, I have had 2 surgeries on my hip. And what I realized is that my lower body was nowhere near as muscular as it was prior to my hip surgery. So why was that the case? Because I was afraid. Yeah, fear. I was afraid because I didn't know if by them putting that titanium pin into my bone, put a ball on the end of it, put it into my hip socket, was I capable of doing lower body exercise? I had fear that I would hurt my hip, despite the fact that my doctor said I was cleared to do anything I chose. See, my fear wasn't grounded in reality, but it became something that was so embedded in my subconscious mind because I didn't want to feel the pain that I had when I broke my hip. I didn't want to do anything to damage it, that I created a mental habit, I created a perspective, and that perspective influenced me and stopped me from achieving the results that I desired to achieve. You see, I'll share with you, I was 22% body fat. My goal is to be 185 pounds and 18.5% body fat. And at my age, that's an incredible gift, an incredible sense of health. You see, I have to learn that when we conquer fear, we conquer disease. When we destroy the cause, the effect dies. That's real important to understand. When we destroy the cause, the effect dies. And what's happening right now is everything we're dealing with, I've got a headache. What do? Oh, take some Tylenol. Are you getting rid of cause? No. You're numbing the effect. Most medicines do nothing to eliminate the cause of an illness. They eliminate the symptoms. The cause is still there. Where is the cause? It's centered in fear. What does fear cause? Stress. When the body's in stress, it's more susceptible to dis-ease. Science is proving 85 to 90% of all illness is caused by stress. Mental and physical stress. Think about that. Mental and physical stress. So we have a pandemic going on. If we did not have mental stress, would our body be in a more natural state of being immune? Yes. What is the medical field telling us? They're saying that 78% of all people that are hospitalized or die from COVID have one thing in common. They're obese. And if they're smokers, it's even worse. But that's not being talked about. Why? It's part of the cause. Why would obesity cause you to have a worse experience? Because it's applying greater stress to the body. So if you have anxiety, depression, which are pre-becoming obese, because we tend to eat to hide from things, hide from mental stresses that we've got. Do you see how it compounds on itself? And why someone exposed to this virus might have a worse effect? Because their immune system is so badly compromised. So we've got to conquer the fear, which is the cause, in order to heal. There is no need to look for some complicated theory when our answer is really quite simple. Our body reflects the picture within our mind. Our body is an outpicturing of our mental image. Our body is a picturing of what we mentally have accepted for ourselves. There's nothing to fear. It's just to understand. And when we understand, when we're aware and we understand, we can effectively eliminate the cause. We have the power. You see, healing is not a matter of time. Healing is a matter of changing our consciousness. Are you really understanding that? I'm asking you to really contemplate that. Healing is a matter of changing our consciousness. Physical healing, mental healing, it all starts with how we perceive the world. And let me give you a little tip. It's not your fault. You were hypnotized into much of what you believe before you were the age of 8. You were hypnotized by your parents' views. You were hypnotized by the views in school. You were hypnotized by the rules of church. Because when you're under 8, your mind is in theta state, which is a natural hypnotic state where you blindly accept what's given to you. Here's the funny thing. The rest of your life you're trying to undo. Most of it, what you were given before you were able to be discerning, to reason. And so it's a matter of, our life is about changing our consciousness to becoming that which we most desire to be. Not what someone else wants us to be, but what we choose to be. Because when we're moving in the direction of what we really want, fear doesn't enter in. It doesn't enter in because we're moving toward what we want. You see, a person's illness is nothing but a distorted thought pattern. It's a pattern of untruth. The truth is that you are a unique whole and expression of infinite consciousness. Key thing there is unique. You're not meant to be like anyone else. I say this all the time in every type of class I do. Comparison is the death of joy. You were not meant to compete with others. You were meant to be uniquely you. Your gift to the world is your uniqueness. And when you're being that, there's no fear. Because how do you fear being you? You don't have to do anything to be you. You can just be you. You don't have any measurements, just be you. Let your inner calling call forth. Don't judge, just be you. Fear disappears. You see, on top of that, we cannot prevent negative thoughts or contrary thoughts from entering our mind. But what we can do is we can prevent the continuous focus on them. Let's face it, in today's world, people are going to be throwing a lot of crap out there. And it's going to be negative crap. Complaining, blaming, bitching, moaning, all of that. Yeah, you're not going to be able to get away from that. But you can decide not to keep your focus on it after you listen to it. You can decide to limit your time with people who are thinking in that fashion. So you have power, don't you? And as you use that power, what do? You eliminate and minimize any impact of fear. You see, we tend to absorb the mental atmosphere of those that we most associate with. It is therefore critical to our well-being that we choose wisely who we spend time with, what we listen to, what we allow to enter into our sacred level of awareness. You have the right to choose. Yeah. I know that's a bummer, isn't it? Because that means that we are 100% responsible for our life experience. Here's the thing. We're 100% responsible for everything we choose and everything we don't choose. Did you hear that? Because not making a choice is a choice. So there's no escaping. The question is there a desire in you to be more? And if so, are you willing to commit? Commit means no other option to achieving that desire. You see, we make our own bondage by buying into fear. However, we have the ability to not let fear control us, but rather to observe fear and let it go. Don't think fear doesn't exist. It's going to enter in. No matter what we do, it's going to exist. But we can observe it. We can analyze why is that fear there, and then we can let it go. Fear about me doing an exercise on the legs a month after I had surgery was a legitimate fear. 6, 7 months after surgery, with the doctor's okay, it's no longer a legitimate fear. It's the mind holding on to something from the past that's not serving in the moment. So I have to let it go. Observe the fear, let it go. Our deeper mind has a curious way of turning an action into a habit of actions when it's accompanied by strong emotions. So I, today, later, am going to the gym, and I'm going to implement a leg workout. And when I'm doing that leg workout, I'm going to be so juiced, so positive at the muscles I'm building and what I'm creating in my body that I am going to begin to create that habit, and my deeper mind is going to say yes. And I'm going to anchor that habit so that I do it automatically, twice every week. And every time I do it, I will be increasing the amount of resistance so that I grow my muscle. Do you realize we're always stepping up to do more, to be more? You can't, if you're staying where you are, if you're not increasing what you're doing, there'll be no gain. It's not no pain, no gain. It's no increase, no gain. You see, I told myself a lie. I told myself a lie about my body. A lie believed will cause us to act as though it was the truth. It's not the truth. You and I and everyone else have infinite potential if we choose to use them. Most of us will not make that choice because of fear. People tell me they believe something, and I say to them, we must act the way we believe, or we shall eventually come to believe the way we act. Yeah, we've got to act the way we believe, and then we'll become the way we act. To deny fear is to deny our truth. Fear is not who we are. Fear is a construct of the ego. We fear because we've forgotten our truth, that we are infinite, whole, perfect, unique expressions of one. That's who we are. We're unique, whole, and perfect expressions of one, with the ability to have an infinite number of experiences in this life. And the power to do that is within you, and it's ready to respond. Isn't it time that we remember? And when we remember, our whole life opens up and we begin again.